This is Meltdown Live, presented by MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag for double your initial deposit. You sign on to make a deposit, they double it with code NEXTROUND at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. MyBookie.ag.
Welcome in live here to the Culver studio. Maybe you're watching on demand. We appreciate you hitting that thumbs up button for us and helping us out right here with Meltdown Live with you daily, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. We really appreciate all the support from our loyal Meltdonians. I am Tim Melton. Joining me here in studio, a cast of characters in the Culver studio, including Tyler Johns. Tyler, how are you, man? We got a long day ahead.
Oh, yes. Long weekend for me. As you know, I've been struggling to find a movie to go see. Zero new movies that I could go see.
Yeah.
Check my AMC app this morning. And I start tallying them up. It's a new release weekend. Oh, we got some old releases finally making their way here. I've got 6 movies to go see in the next few days.
Okay, well, you are going to be very busy. I believe I told you earlier today that you are like an outside bug that has found its porch light now. That you
Oh, yeah.
are, you know where to gravitate towards. And that bright AMC sign outside the theater, you're going to be there, it seems like, all weekend long. So I'm looking forward to seeing what crossover we have because you know I am doing a double feature today.
You are.
I don't know if you're sold on the double feature because it's, you know, we're trying to navigate the path of what to consume. But I learned today, e.g., that there
Okay.
is a werewolf movie that is out starring Frank Grillo. And I am a sucker for Las Vegas movies, shark movies, and werewolf movies.
Do you feel like a identity to the werewolf movies?
I do. If you remember, I was a werewolf for
Halloween.
Halloween.
Yep.
So
People bought it too.
I also have the facial hair of a werewolf.
Yes.
I was initially going to go with prosthetics for my werewolf costume.
Wow.
But then I realized that that would take a lot of time and effort
Not
and
needed.
probably not look very good. It would probably look really bad. So I just bought a mask. But speaking of my haircut, been fighting to get one for a long time. We
Yep.
talked about this saga and I had an appointment scheduled for tomorrow.
Oh no. Had
It
an
got
appointment.
canceled. It got canceled.
No way.
Yeah, my stylist son is sick, and so she had to cancel, and she was very apologetic because she knows it's been a saga. But this has been a doomed haircut for
Oh
months.
my god. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen anything like this when it comes to a haircut.
Well, I'm just gonna have to try a new place.
Yeah, I think it's time.
It's been long overdue, and I
Yeah.
keep making excuses for no, I'm very loyal with I want the same person as always, but you should know that when you go to a new establishment
It's There's some
It's
nerves.
daunting.
you have to wear around what they do to you for a long time unless you then go get it fixed by the person you originally were going to
Yep.
go to. So I have no idea how it's going to go, but I'm going to an actual barber, I think.
Yeah, I would recommend that. Definitely go to an actual barber.
EG keeps looking at me and she's being nice. You're being nice. But you keep looking at me in a way that lets me know that this is long overdue and that I've caused a lot of emotional distress to my closest individuals in my life because I've let this thing get absolutely out of control and it's time to nip this thing in the bud.
Yeah, it's time.
It's time.
It's
Time
time.
to say goodbye.
It's time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyway, I just want to say that it has not been by a fault of trying. I've been trying.
No.
Things keep happening, happenstance, and I hope that my fortune today, later
I'm
on
excited.
fine-tuned fortunes, I hope that it's a good one. But I hope it says you're about to be hairless. That's my
Well,
hope.
You're
Well-
about to be in a hairy situation.
We'll
It
see.
says that. We
That
have
would be
4
incredible.
options, so we're going to go through that. There's 3 of us, and then we will pick one lucky commenter to have their fortune read here live on the air. So I am seeing a werewolf movie, and I'm also seeing a horror comedy called Y2K that I am not especially excited for. I typically don't like horror comedies.
Oh, okay.
Okay, not a genre I love. So I love werewolf movies. Don't love horror comedies for the most
Okay.
part.
So Scary Movie was just not for you at all.
I'm a Scream. I love Scream. Scary Movie, no thanks.
I actually saw Scary Movie before I saw Scream.
A lot of people have actually had that. I actually saw Scream 2 before I saw Scream 1.
Hmm.
Yeah, so that I don't recommend that order.
Hmm.
But I have a beard hair in my mouth.
Ew.
Oh,
Vomit.
Please quit yelling vomit. That's the most vomiting thing is when you want to hear. I got a
you're
rumor.
gonna be in the middle of an ad read and be coughing up a hairball.
I've got a little rumor to throw around the office here.
Ooh, I love rumors.
Tyler ate an expired piece of cornbread off of a computer today. That happened.
Ew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You didn't think
okay,
it through.
all right. We need to
Ew.
back this up. So maybe a week ago, something like that.
Maybe.
I had a meal from the deli. It came with a wrapped piece of cornbread. I cannot
Oh,
stress this enough. This is an
Lionel.
individually wrapped piece of cornbread.
Wrapped piece of
Yes.
cornbread.
Wrapped.
That does
Yes.
not mean like sealed, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was in like the cellophane
No,
seals.
not sealed. Not sealed.
Okay, not sealed according to EG. I had it sitting down here on my desktop right here for
Oh.
safekeeping,
I thought that was a fortune cookie.
and then uh after my lunch today, I said, you know what, I'm still a little peckish. I'll munch on this cornbread. I love cornbread. It's good anytime. And then as I was chewing the first bite, I thought, why does this taste like a hot computer fan smells? And I couldn't finish it. I spit it
Ew.
into a big like grocery bag.
Well, let me paint the picture even more clearly. I'm in here pouring my heart out to young Tyler. I'm going through a very emotional story talking about my life that he had asked me about. We were having a great conversation. And the next thing I see is
Hacking up.
he's like a cat that's like
Like,
convulsing and
wow.
that you know it's on the way.
Mm.
He opens the bag and he all in the bag with the cornbread.
I wasn't making noises like that. I was just spitting it out.
I was
That's
just
gross.
making the
It
noise.
wasn't like I was like hacking it up.
I think
or
the
anything.
spitting is worse.
But you spit it multiple times out. It wasn't because cornbread it breaks
Yeah,
up.
it breaks up and clumps up in different areas, and you gotta work to spit it out.
Nasty.
This is by far the most disgusting episode we've ever
Yeah.
had at the Meltdown.
I
Ew.
don't know. You reading that Amazon review the other day was pretty bad.
Was it bad?
It wasn't
Yeah, I didn't
us.
I didn't like playing that episode back. I skipped
Oh,
through that part.
really? I thought it was,
Yeah.
I was giggling.
In the moment, you enjoyed it very much.
Oh yeah, it's funny in the moment, but it's not something I want
You
to hear
wanted to
about
hear
on a
again?
podcast. Yeah.
Okay,
Oh.
well that's good to know.
That is good to know.
Because we were having a great time when it was happening.
Mm.
I mean, it was like a really good time. Okay, here's where we're headed now, and
Okay.
that is potentially to a little bit of divisiveness on the show.
Potentially, it's going to be.
Potentially, this is going to be very tense.
Yeah.
But what we need to do is remain professional during this because it's not like we've mapped this out.
I'm looking at you too.
Look, it could get very bad. We've
I
tiptoed.
made sure to wear cargos today just
That
to get
offended me. I'm
just I'm extra
I meant to say
against
something about
you
that.
today. I got like 10. Well,
You
cameras
stood
over
up
here.
and it showed less of the car.
I got like 10 pockets on these.
Cargo shorts are a crime against humanity.
These are pants. Does that make it better?
No.
They're snow
Okay.
leopard. Okay.
All right.
What was I about to say? Oh, here's what I was about to say. So we've off the cuff a couple of times tiptoed into the direction of this conversation. So we're not completely foreign to sort of where we stand on this subject.
No.
But we've never gotten fully into the conversation on air. And I am concerned that it's going to be tense from the beginning and there's not going to be a lot of respect shown back and forth.
No, I don't think there will be.
I already feel the tension in the office today just from the fact that this topic is something that exists.
Yeah.
So the topic is on this latest Meltdown Countdown.
Hmm.
What are EG's 5 Atlanta observations that she's most passionate about?
Oh.
And was there any other disclaimers I kind of gave you on this?
No, just passion. Like rank them 5 to 1. And I think I did a good job with this. And I think that now I took the high road on this. Okay. And some of these are not as controversial, if you will. Some of them are.
I feel like you're already defensive. We haven't
She
gotten to
is.
your first point.
And it's I think it's
A
because
few
there's
of these
one choice that we've both grilled her about that's gonna appear on this
the
list.
Is your goal to change minds and
No.
hearts, or what is your goal
Well, the
today?
goal is to shed a light on the city of Atlanta that people that don't live there may not understand.
You are a Georgia native,
Yes.
and for whenever anybody asks where you're from,
Mm.
I've heard you say Atlanta.
Yeah.
So
OTP.
this is a subject that you're passionate about
Yes.
because it's your life on
Yes.
display. So I understand it's very personal. I also, I mean, I assume you understand that I'm a Birmingham guy,
Yeah.
and Birmingham and Atlanta kind of have a little bit of a beef
I
with
think it's
one another.
one-sided.
You think Birmingham people just
Yeah. Like,
because Atlanta's so great that
we
Yeah,
just
they don't
Atlanta
even think
doesn't
about
look down on
Yeah.
Birmingham at all, even though they steal a lot from us.
What do we steal from you?
Ah,
I don't know,
y'all stole a lot.
Delta?
You guys didn't want Delta, so
Y'all
we
stole
took
Gucci Mane.
how are we stealing these people? They
He
came
was
Anyway,
born in
they
I don't
Bessemer. Yeah,
look.
y'all Atlanta
Okay.
they
people
came to
wanna claim
us.
him.
Once again, I don't want this to be contentious. So we're
It's
gonna
too
keep
bad.
it's gonna be very open-minded, right? And we are going to just talk it out, right?
Okay.
But the only thing we may share by the end of this is I-20. That may be it.
Yeah, that might be. That's an honorable
That's good.
mention that you guys will
See, Tyler's laughing and saying it's good, but 2 days from now, it'll be like that I-20 joke. I listened back
That's
and
so
I
true.
really hated it.
Yeah. All right. So
But yet 2-week-old cornbread, he's a fan.
Suddenly's okay. It tastes like
Alright,
computer
you know what?
fan.
I'm on Team Atlanta.
Team Atlanta now.
Yeah.
All
I was
right.
trying to flip it to where the odds are a little bit better in your favor, EG. Okay,
I'm excited
let's start
with
with
number 5.
that's how it works. You Atlanta people, you know already how everything works because
See,
you're
us
so
Alabama people, we don't know how a countdown works.
right. We're
We
not used to the big
we gotta
city.
have
You guys are
the
saying it, not
Georgia
me.
No, it's
You
okay.
guys are saying it, not me.
letter
No.
writer.
Okay.
No.
Number 5.
No, you just flocked here because Atlanta's so great. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue on with number 5.
OTP is better than ITP. Exactly. So I'm trying to educate. I am considered outside of the perimeter. There's OTP and ITP. Okay.
Is this a zombie wasteland we're talking about?
Walking
This sounds
Dead
No,
was filmed there.
I had a buddy who lived in Atlanta, and he said the perimeter a few
Yeah.
times. I didn't know y'all had OTP and
Yes.
ITP, but you got ICP.
All of the qualms you have with Atlanta is ITP.
oh, so the parts of Atlanta that you also hate?
Yeah, there are parts of Atlanta that you do not none of us have any business being in.
Got it?
OTP are the suburbs surrounding Atlanta. So I guess you can do like the Mountain Brooks, Vestavia Hills, Homewoods of Birmingham.
Mhm.
The schools are better. The traffic is almost just as bad, but it is, I guess, a little better. You still get the variety of restaurants. You still have the option to go into the city, but you don't have to necessarily commute into the city, if that makes sense. You can go catch a show, catch a game, but you're not confined to the traffic, the crime, etc.
Okay, let's get into some of these things when
Okay.
it comes to the traffic and the crime. Now,
Yeah.
look, Birmingham cannot be sacrosanct at all when talking about violent crime
No.
because
Nope,
it is
we were
You
ahead on
guys,
that list.
yeah, you guys beat Atlanta.
we are per capita. Birmingham is always there in the national ranks.
Yeah.
For sure, and I understand that. And really, if you look at most major metros throughout the entire country, this is an issue. So it's not really a Birmingham or Atlanta thing. It's really very much a metropolitan
Yes,
issue.
for sure.
So crime is one thing. However, I navigate through Birmingham almost every night. Almost every night I navigate through Birmingham. And I feel way more uncomfortable in Atlanta. And I don't know, I think it may be because I don't know the area as well.
Yeah,
So I'm being
fair enough,
completely
fair
honest, right? I'm
enough.
trying to make this a really fair conversation. But also, like I'm talking about, I start to feel uncomfortable in Atlanta around 7 o'clock at night, 6:30, 7:30. Like it's not even late, and I start to feel a little uncomfortable
Yeah,
in Atlanta.
that's fair. Uncomfortable in what way? Uncomfortable that you don't need to stop the car at a stop sign?
Uncomfortable in that in a city that's supposedly got a massive population, it starts to feel kind of like
There's some streets that feel like a ghost
It
town.
feels
There
like a
are.
little bit of a ghost town, but
You're waiting for somebody to pop around the
and you don't want to run into anybody either. It's like
Yeah.
it's lonely, but also like I'd rather be alone than whatever is lurking in the shadows here. Because
Like
something is
around Mercedes-Benz.
around that
Yeah.
Yeah.
area. The
So,
touristy areas during the
yes.
day, but when it starts to get a little bit
Yeah,
later, it feels not so great. And it feels like you Atlanta people kind of know this,
for sure.
and you stay the hell out of there.
Yes, yes. There are certain places that you do not wanna find yourself. There's certain roads when it comes to Mercedes-Benz, you don't wanna go behind it. That's where my brother's car got stolen, when it used to be the Dome, and I feel like that's pretty understood. You don't wanna find yourself not near your car or with an exit plan if you're kinda hanging out. I will say, what's interesting? Ponce City Market? Have you guys heard of that?
I'll be honest, I
Okay.
don't
No.
know.
So it's a very trendy area. So you got this like old, I think it was like a Sears warehouse that got converted into shops, multi floors, restaurants. There's the Beltline, and it's very, hip and cool.
Mhm.
It's on Ponce de Leon Avenue, also known as Ponce to Atlanta natives. And that used to be the $1 million mile because there was over $1 million of drugs sold every single day on it.
Oh, yep.
Oh,
Is that
okay.
not insane? And now it's Ponce City Market, which is this trendy, crazy, cool, like, place, but
Right.
all of that has
So
to go somewhere.
right, but you're in the pro Atlanta camp, right? I'm just
Yes,
okay,
for sure,
but
for
you are
sure.
educating us, and I
Yeah,
appreciate that.
Meech.
So at number 5, to sum it up one more time, it's
OTP
OTP
is
or
better than ITP.
ITP. Okay. Where are we going for number
So
4?
I do want to know this. Is Buckhead, that's ITP, correct?
Yes, yeah,
Okay.
well, I
Yeah,
guess some parts of it are not and some parts are.
I gotcha.
Depends.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about Midtown?
Midtown is ITP.
Okay,
And
Yeah.
then, see, I've
Then, like,
been
Marietta is OTP.
Buckhead,
got it.
Midtown,
Little Five Points is ITP.
and the little
College
5
Park,
points, driven through the bluff,
Virginia Highland, all that
got out of
is
there real quick.
yeah.
You're going to Atlanta
Right.
tonight, and you will be broadcasting from there tomorrow.
Yes.
Via the next round and the SEC championship, obviously a huge deal, and a lot of Alabamians make their way over for that game. Typically, there is an Alabama team represented in that
Yep.
game. Not the case this time around. My question to you is, what's number 4 on this meltdown countdown of observations about Atlanta?
That actually kinda plays into it.
Oh,
The variety of entertainment. Am I crackling? Do
a
you hear
little bit, yeah, but
Interesting.
it's okay.
The variety of entertainment that you get in Atlanta is
Whatever you just did is way better.
one
Continue.
of the best you can get of any major city, and this is why I say that. I guess I'll say in the South. You have pro sports, you have college sports that are played, like we're talking about, SEC championship, incredible venues overall. Mercedes-Benz is awesome. It's built for the World Cup. It is all to all the specifications. You also have good concert venues. You also have the Fox. And you have all of those random Dragon Cons, Comic Cons. There is literally something for everyone. You also have the Mart, which takes place in the summers and the winters, which if you're into fashion, things like that. There's always something going on in Atlanta. Always.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no denying that. In Birmingham, a lot of times, there's not much going on.
Yeah.
It's
And
tough for live music venues here. We got BJCC. I mean, we've got like Avondale and Iron City and all those, but man, some of them are just real rough.
well, they're going
Just
through a real rough time as well.
they're going through a rough time,
Mhm.
and so they don't have the money to upgrade. But I like going into the Masquerade at Atlanta. Like, just I feel like it's very good for the price you pay for tickets, as far as being a small little club venue
Yeah.
for smaller
I've
bands.
been to multiple venues in Atlanta. I really enjoyed the Tabernacle.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was a big fan of that location. Probably the best concert I've ever been to was at the
Who'd you
Tabernacle.
see?
I saw my favorite band ever, The Midnight,
Oh,
and
that's
it was
cool.
a wonderful
Yeah.
performance. And having it with that sort of stained glass
Uh-huh.
window look, and it just had a great richness to that venue in that place. So I really enjoyed
Yeah.
that. There was some other venue I went to that's close, but I can't remember what the name of it is. But anyway, I agree with you here, EG. This
Yeah.
is a very strong point to a very strong observation here. And what Birmingham is looking to do is they're building an amphitheater
Mhm.
where the old Caraway Hospital used to be.
Oh,
It's
that's
still
scary.
technically there. Which, by the way, if you've ever gone down the rabbit hole of watching like abandoned building walkthroughs, there's some decent ones on the Caraway remains that the Caraway carcass is what I call it,
Yeah.
that remains there as an eyesore. But they're going to be tearing that down, building the amphitheater. Amphitheater. They've already announced shows that are coming there, and the goal is before a lot of artists go from Atlanta to Nashville
Mhm.
to have them swing by and
Yeah.
stop in Birmingham. And they didn't feel like they could do that with Oak Mountain Amphitheater on a regular basis. So they're going to try to do it here with this Birmingham Amphitheater. And Birmingham also doesn't want to lose a lot of acts to Huntsville, which is really
Oh yeah.
making a play for
Yeah.
music, becoming a music sort of city. And Birmingham's going to try to throw their hat in the ring. We'll see if it's successful, but if people don't feel safe, if they don't feel like they can park successfully, if you give Birmingham people any reason, any hurdle to have to jump to go to something,
They're not going.
typically they stay home.
Interesting.
I I wish they were putting that literally anywhere else in the city. Caraway is the last place I would want to go on a regular basis. Also, to even build the place, you're gonna have to kick out God knows how many squatters, and that's just gonna be an adventure.
Yeah, who knows who's all living in there? They may find people that have been missing for a long time, and
And
who
they got
knows?
mole people in there.
That may happen.
Scary.
All right, so EG, a very strong point there for number
Thank
4.
you.
Let's go to number 3 on this Meltdown
Okay.
countdown.
This is an observation that I want everyone to really take to heart. I wrote this in all caps. Go with the flow of traffic, not the speed limit. You will die if you do not. Just go.
Okay. I like the last part of that because it's the truest thing
Yeah.
that I've heard you say about Atlanta traffic,
It's
which is you will die.
Just go.
Just go. Atlanta traffic, there is nothing that makes me more uncomfortable that I've experienced in my life than Atlanta traffic.
it's like the rush at the beginning of the Hunger Games for
Yeah.
everybody going to the cornucopia, and you just gotta keep up with the flow and
Yeah.
try and beat the rest of the people there.
Yeah.
And oh, by the way, your exit is on the entire other side of the interstate while you're going 92.
Yes.
And
And
there's a Prius flying at you like Katniss's
Ye-
arrow.
Yeah.
I was driving through Atlanta, and there were some big dividers in the median. And on the other side, it started to rain. On the other side, I couldn't see what happened, but something awful happened.
Yeah.
It was almost like the way they try to hide dinosaurs and sharks in movies, where it's like, oh, I know something bad's happening, but they're not showing it on screen. It's like the T-Rex in Jurassic Park when
Mhm.
like the leaves are
It's like
moving
shaking and you can kind of see. Yeah.
and the guy's water's bouncing, but
Yeah.
they're not like showing everything yet. And there's obviously some huge collision has happened to the left
Mhm.
because all I see is water rushing over and car parts flying in the air over this median. And we're all still going, 95 on the
Yeah.
other end.
Yeah.
And I understand if you've been raised in that
Yes.
environment, it feels normal to you.
Yes.
Like 280 does not feel normal to you.
280. Like, I will have gray hair and wrinkles simply because of experiencing 280. I learned how to drive in Atlanta. So, like, you get your little instructor and you go on I-75 and you're merging with the little emergency brake puller guy. Yeah. I, I pray for those people because I'm like, you must not have a will to live if you're willing to get in the car with students and do this.
You could not pay me enough.
No. But there is a certain level. I feel like Atlanta and New York, I'm sure you could say the same. LA. If you learn how to drive in these cities, you can drive anywhere. I feel like there is a disconnect in the form of driving from Atlanta to Birmingham. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's called We Are Civilized
Yeah,
Creatures
well,
over
no,
here.
no, no, wait,
or yeah,
wait.
yeah,
Nope, I'm going. Listen, if the speed limit is 55 and everyone is cruising at 42, that drives me insane. Why are we
Hold on.
cruising under the speed limit?
Where
I was gonna back you up, EG, until
Sorry.
you started talking.
where on the interstate in Birmingham are people going 42?
On my drive from here to Tuscaloosa, it is insane to
it-
me how
exactly.
people just like cruise along.
There are some people who go way too fast, some people who go way too slow. That's on any major roadway in the country. But overall, Birmingham drivers are so much more
Cautious.
efficient at not causing people their lives
Wait, okay,
than what
no.
you just said about
I see
either put up with it or die is what your number 3 is.
Now,
I
to EG's credit, Atlanta is like that, but Birmingham, I feel like a lot of drivers are so courteous to where they end up causing you more
Yes.
trouble.
I see more fender benders on 280. There is no okay, this is I think what it boils down to. As an Atlanta driver that I was born, raised, learning how to drive there, we are taught to be defensive drivers. All of our courses are defensive driving. That does not exist here. It is like, come on in,
Oh,
it's a party,
no.
cruise past me. No, come on.
Yeah, if I was raised on Fury Road, I would be a defensive driver too.
And so if you are a defensive driver trying to drive on 280, I get the dirtiest looks. And I'm like, I'm not trying to get hit by grandma that's going 20 under and everyone's okay with it.
Yeah.
It's
I agree.
weird.
If I was raised in a house full of cannibals, I would also like the taste of human flesh.
Now,
I
to be fair, it's a speed limit.
speed limit.
Yes.
That is the minimum you should be going.
I
Well, no.
That's how if you see the speed limit, that is the at minimum.
That's called Atlanta. That's Atlanta. It's if you're going below this, kiss your
Yes.
goodbye.
The left lane doesn't exist here. The left lane is the passing lane.
Okay, a lot of your grievances are fair until you start comparing it with Atlanta got it right, and then you lose me.
Atlanta didn't get it right. That's not, in my opinion, there are certain things about driving through Atlanta. For example, I-20 exchange trying to get to Augusta from 75, you might die. Like you say a prayer, it makes zero sense. It's not great. However, when it comes to defensive driving, I do think Atlanta gets it right. Just go. You like you will always tell if someone is causing a ruckus. The favorite thing to do is see where their tag is, and if it's not a Georgia tag, and I'm not saying this is a Georgia thing. This is an Atlanta thing because you'll get some bumpkin from down in Bibb County. I guess that's Macon, not far enough.
Hey, Tyler's Telegrams worked out of Bibb County for a
Oh, man.
long
I
time.
apologize.
Okay?
Come on.
And like my roommate from college, love her to death,
Back
Gracie
you
and
up.
Gill. She's from literally the Florida Georgia line. They had to like work up the courage to drive through Atlanta. Like it was not a thing that they did. They did not like to do it. They would avoid Atlanta simply because they didn't want to drive through it.
So you are actually completely prepared to drive through Atlanta tonight and feel like you're like, these are my people.
Yes, it is a like
Yeah, literally, it's a breeze because you feel the breeze and you're not in a convertible because you're going 100 miles an hour. It's the Southern Autobahn, is what it is.
it is.
And I don't like it because I have a family I care about getting them safely to their destination.
Now,
And I have my child in the back with claw marks literally going down the doors, devaluing my automobile and terrorizing and terrifying my daughter. And you sit in here and you defend it
I
every
defend it.
single
You know what I
day.
do not defend though? Where Atlanta gets it real wrong? The street racers at night. That is so dangerous and so effed up. And that is, I
we
hate
got
that.
plenty of those.
This is
here,
the
too.
moment where Birmingham
Yeah,
and Atlanta they have a
Can I
handshake.
see your hands?
Mayor Woodford has torn up
Think we got any of that on
downtown,
camera?
I don't think we did either.
like First Avenue, just because of people in their beat up Miatas.
Give me a chat check in here, Tyler.
I'm curious.
Check in. Nick says he will take 280 over 75, 85, or 285 in Atlanta.
Never.
Yes.
Charles says
Never.
Beham to T-Town is infuriating. Yes, it is. 459 sucks. That is awful. Jeff says that EG's driving is not considered defensive driving. That's considered rude driving. Hunter says he's been verbally assaulted for no reason so many times on 280.
Agreed.
I believe it. People go nutty. And Nick says you got to watch out for those people with those 7 tags. I'm not sure
7
what that
tags.
means.
I don't know. I do agree with Nick though that like there's a certain I guess it's on 75 if you're going downtown and the speed limit is 55 and I if you went 55 like I'm not going to get ran off the road. Like it is at minimum 85, 87, 90.
You're making my point for me.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Nick also makes that point in the chat. He says speed limit in Atlanta could be 55, but the minimum speed is 90.
I've never been pulled over, knock on wood. But like
No, they're too busy tending to all the crashes that have, turned really horrible.
the best
See,
is
Birmingham has a bunch of little fender benders.
paperwork.
But as soon as somebody crashes in Atlanta, there's a 40-car pileup
Yeah.
because somebody sneezed, and there's a bunch of people behind him going 80.
But 280, what makes me so mad is logistically, it should, and I've talked about this, that it wasn't built for what it became. Yeah, that's fine. But I think as an Atlanta driver, there are like 16 lanes that we have to deal with. There's 2. I guess there's 4. It's a divided highway. And I'm like, oh, I guess there's 3. Some 2 in some places, 3, whatever. It's like, why can't we just like get this right? Like, just keep moving.
Because you just run out of real estate to be able to, like, when you funnel something, it's like, why doesn't this, end
Yeah.
up spreading further? It's like 'cause it's all being funneled into smaller and smaller lanes of traffic.
It's horrible.
And you
Anyways.
throw in the holidays with a lot of people out there shopping, and it can also create some headaches. Before we get to number 2 on this meltdown countdown, I want to remind you to speed over to Grants Mill Road, where you'll find Alabama Dental Associates. I'll take Alabama Dental Associates over Georgia Dental Associates any day of the week, even though I can say that I've never been to Georgia Dental Associates, nor do I know if a Georgia Dental Associates even exists. But I do know Alabama Dental exists because I'm a patient there and you should be too. They provide all sorts of services when it comes to staying on top of your dental health. Whether you have that nagging toothache like I had and needed a dentist to help me with that pain, I was able to meet Dr. Brian there and we've become great friends. They're there for you as well. Maybe you're new in town and you need to make sure you have a dentist on standby. Reach out and try Alabama Dental Associates for yourself as they're accepting new patients now. It can help you feel at ease about all of your upcoming dental procedures. Call them 205 956 8977 or visit alabamadental.com where they look forward to seeing you. Okay, let's go to number 2
Number 2.
on this meltdown countdown as we look at the 5 EG observations about Hotlanta.
Ew. Okay.
Why?
Yeah, I
No,
don't
that's
like
like
hearing Hotlanta either.
that's like a thing.
It is a thing, which
Yeah,
is
like,
why I
you
Yeah,
see, like,
said
no,
it.
the
like
thing, like
Atlanta people have a thing about it. It's like, oh, if you say that, we know you're not from Atlanta and you never frequent
And
here.
guess what? I'll never be from Atlanta because I'll never live in Atlanta. Hotlanta, Hotlanta, Hotlanta. It's so spicy.
okay. Number 2. The decision to move the Braves to Truist was the best decision that Atlanta ever made.
Moving the Braves out of Atlanta was a great Atlanta
Yeah,
decision.
'cause
I agree, EG. It should be number 1 on
you're
your
not gonna
list
like my
and
number
anybody
1.
else's list. I agree. Atlanta's so great they moved their professional baseball team out of the city. Makes a lot of sense to me.
Yes, and I knew that that's where you were gonna go with this, and I was fine with it. I was fine with it because what was my number 5? OTP is better than ITP. So, yeah, I agree. Turner Field, that whole, like, process of being down there for a game was horrible. The Battery is incredible. It's such a family environment. Taking your kid to Turner Field, it was not easy. Parking was a nightmare. I remember I always had to ride on my dad's shoulders, and we had to do, like, a human chain when we were walking because you don't know if your car is gonna even be there when you get back. And there was nothing around Turner Field. There still is nothing, and the Georgia State, like, renovation of it looks horrible. Um, very, very, very good decision. They almost had to call it the Cobb County Braves, which would have been terrible.
Ooh.
I know, but it's still off 75.
Okay. I'm not going to continue to pummel you for this because
I think everyone agrees on
we
it.
agree on
Yeah.
it and there's really nothing to hit there.
Yeah.
I do feel like in Atlanta proper,
Yeah.
I feel, and you may feel this way, you may not.
Okay.
I feel very claustrophobic with the amount of concrete jungle that is Atlanta. It feels very like it blocks out the sun almost.
Really?
It's very narrow, it's very bleak, it's all very concretey, and
I feel about Birmingham.
way too much valet parking.
What? I like the valet parking.
Look, I don't like having to pay for parking every single time I want to go somewhere. Can you leave the house in Atlanta and go out and enjoy a night on the town without having to pay at least $60 right out of the gate?
Not $60, your car might be stolen. I mean, would you rather have the $60 up front or a new car?
I feel like the parking situation in Atlanta, and I've had my situations happen with the Birmingham parking, which is also poor at times where you're basically taking a gamble of if your car
Yeah.
is going to be out there, not because of thieves, but because of
Towing.
towing. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
no.
parked in some sketch areas for a concert just because I didn't want to pay the $25 to park it in the garage.
Yeah. Atlanta stresses me out trying to park. And with so many people driving anywhere because the public transit is an absolute disaster
Well
in Atlanta,
Can I give an honorable mention that'll help prove this point? Your
Oh,
point?
you like the
Marta?
Marta?
No, I hate.
Doesn't.
No, there's no reason that you should take MARTA if
Yeah.
you
Oh,
value
okay.
your life. No, Peachtree. If you are trying to get around in Atlanta, there are so many roads named Peachtree that
Yep.
are not the same roads.
You're right.
So confusing.
If there's ever anybody in Atlanta that's asking me for directions anywhere, I go, "Oh, just go to Peachtree and hook a
You'll hit,
left."
yeah, you'll get somewhere eventually.
I can't give directions. I don't know.
Yeah, that was my honorable mention.
Okay, good. So that leads us into another chat check-in with Tyler. He's letting us know where the people's pulse is here on this episode of Meltdown Live.
All right. Nick, following up on a previous comment, says it's Bibb County that has the 7 car tags. Hunter says that 280 was a nightmare on the first day that Birmingham hosted the March Madness tournament. Saber says Hot Atlanta is like calling it Rosh Dress for Less.
Agreed.
Hunter says Hot Atlanta is the same as Tornado Part 2. And Saber again says Hot Atlanta people choke on their beard hair.
Yeah.
And
Is
Ryan says EG is right. Truist is 100 times better than Turner or Fulton County Stadium.
Saber is like a boxing trainer that when I go to the corner, he starts getting his punches in. You know, it's like, "Hey, what's going on here?" You know, he just jabs me right in the right eye. It's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm just trying to wake you up." Okay, let's go ahead and get to number 1
Y'all are gonna hate it.
on Meltdown Countdown. What is it, EG?
The Atlanta airport is the best airport. Plan correctly, utilize a plane train, stop being a baby, direct flights.
I mean, it probably is. I've just never really flown. I've never been to the Atlanta airport, actually.
It's the busiest airport
In the world.
in the world. You are in a situation where you have to be very logistical to get where you need to go in there. It's not the worst thing, but I much prefer Birmingham's airport. It has spoiled me when it comes to airport. I can go to my plane in like 20 minutes from when I check my bags.
Does
See,
Atlanta have the Morgan Freeman impression?
Fake Morgan Freeman.
That's
Well,
why I said
sorry.
impression.
I
I
know.
caught myself. You've taught me that
I
is
did.
not the real Morgan Freeman.
Tyler fell for it.
I remember this conversation.
I educated him on it. It literally broke his heart. I
Yeah.
could see his heart
It did.
breaking.
Because you thought that Morgan Freeman had like a little affinity for Birmingham.
No,
I thought just for whatever reason
Yeah.
we hired Morgan Freeman to do some
Yeah.
voice acting,
Oh,
and I was just
cool.
like, "That's awesome! I live in a city where I can hear Morgan Freeman tell me how to get to my plane."
Tyler literally thought Morgan Freeman was working a shift
No,
at the
stop.
That's
Birmingham airport.
every day.
Hey, Birmingham. It was not something that he was ready for to hear,
Yeah.
but that's a fake Morgan Freeman. But Atlanta, the airport is a mass chaos of individuals, and I'm not sure it's something that I would champion if I was an Atlanta
We champion it
resident.
because you have to go to the Atlanta airport if you want to fly anywhere, especially from Birmingham, pretty much, unless you're going to Dallas. But
Yeah.
you're not getting a direct flight, more than likely.
That's true.
I hated the Dallas airport.
Dallas airport,
Okay? It is
horrible.
really, really bad. But, I'm not going to fight you too hard on this one because
Okay.
if I am looking to get out of that hellscape that is Atlanta, then the airport will be a serviceable choice for
You
me.
have to go. And as you're spoiled with the Birmingham airport, I'm spoiled with Atlanta because in the terminals, you always have a variety of food options. You're not stuck with Panda Express at 8 a.m. like I was in LAX. It's ridiculous.
So somebody in the chat, let me find the name. They said the restaurant One
One
Flew
Flew South.
South. Yes,
One Flew South.
Charles says the restaurant One Flew South is amazing.
It is. And that is one of the best restaurants in Atlanta. And it's in the Atlanta airport, weirdly enough.
Let me give you
What do they serve at One Flew South?
It's Asian inspired.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
let me give you what I feel like is the best Atlanta restaurant. And
Varsity.
no,
Oh, I love the Varsity.
no. Scott Forrester and I agree on this.
Oh, the
The
Vortex.
Vortex. Yes. Yes.
It is the Vortex.
It's my
That
brother's
is
favorite restaurant.
my favorite. Like if this had made your list, I'd probably would have gone like, you know what, EG, Atlanta's not so bad, but it didn't make your list. I had to bring it in, and it was a little bit of a test to see if you would highlight what is an amazing
It
establishment.
is. It's super cool.
21 and older
Yep.
only. You get checked. Your ID gets checked regardless of
Mhm.
what you look like. You are there to play by their rules. You're in their world. It's
Yeah.
how a restaurant or a movie theater should be. They have a list of rules that you have to follow in order to be a patron at the Vortex.
Mhm.
Yeah, they take them very seriously, and they're all fair.
Isn't it just a restaurant though?
But it's an experience. Like, my brother takes like, when you turn 21, you go to Vortex.
It's a it is an experience. It's a bar burger
They have
restaurant,
good burgers.
and it's really, really good, and I love the Vortex. There's multiple locations, but I go to the one that's near Criminal Records.
Yeah.
Um, and once again, pay for my parking, get in there if I can possibly get a spot, and really enjoy some Vortex. The Vortex is how I end every Atlanta trip.
It's a great way to end it.
It is a ending an Atlanta trip is a great way to end it,
Mm.
and doing it at the Vortex is how I make peace with going
Yeah.
to this city that you call home.
Well, I mean, honestly, I think that was very civil from all of us. I think we agreed on some points. We respectfully disagreed.
I think this went about as well as it possibly
Yeah.
could.
Dare I say better than I thought.
That's fair.
Okay.
I just think we've realized about one another that we just live at different paces.
We do.
Like,
We do.
I really enjoy the quaintness of Birmingham,
Yeah.
and you enjoy the absolute
Hustle
chaos
and
and
bustle.
hustle, and everyone's hustling in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Everyone's on the
Hustling
move.
something.
And I just find it to be a city where it's kind of lost its identity. I'd rather go to Savannah, Georgia any day of the
Love
week.
Savannah. Love Savannah.
Some of these vortex rules are pretty funny.
Which one stands out to you most?
No idiots. They have a description for
Yeah.
no idiots. It says we declared the vortex an idiot-free zone back in 1992 and have remained committed to this policy ever since. Simply stated, it means you be nice and we'll be nice. Anyone who acts like an entitled jerk will be asked to leave. People who behave badly always seem surprised when we toss their silly asses out the door. Probably because they're idiots.
You've never been to the Vortex?
I have not, but
Yes,
I
we need to do a
I
field
wanna go
trip.
now. I looked at a picture of the building, you got your mug, it seems like my vibe.
It is your vibe. You're gonna go in there one day and you're gonna be like, this place
get it.
actually lived up to the billing. The Vortex is fantastic, and you're gonna absolutely thank me and Scott Forrester and EG for all recommending it, and EG's brother.
Yeah.
So there we have your 5 things in this meltdown countdown
Of Atlanta.
of Atlanta observations, not nearly as contentious as I thought it would be.
Good. I
but-
tried. I had a winnow, and then I had to expand, then winnow.
But you're going back to your home turf here tonight, and you'll be broadcasting from there tomorrow, and lots of excitement there. You didn't even bring up a lot of the tourist attractions that are in Atlanta because you Atlanta people just go, once you've done it once.
Aquarium, World of Coke, College
Yeah.
Football Hall of Fame,
Yeah.
Six Flags, Whitewater, Gone with the Wind Museum.
Giant Ferris wheel.
Oh yeah, the Ferris wheel.
And then,
Piedmont Park.
yeah, there's all that there.
Piedmont Park.
Okay. And they had the Olympics.
Yeah.
I
Several
went to
years ago.
one field trip that, in Atlanta. They had a body exhibit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that was really weird.
Yeah.
That was really weird. It was a
Something
cool
goes.
field trip,
It's in
but
the underground
yeah.
Great for those people that were raised by cannibals that I had mentioned earlier.
Well, it was real cadavers.
It was.
There you have it. Okay, let's get into there's no way to transition into this, but we're just going to do it.
Okay.
It's time for our fine-tuned fortune. So here's the way it's going to work. EG has 4 actual real-life fortune cookies. If you are someone who wants your fortune read, let us know in the chat, and we will pick one lucky person to have their fortune read by EG here live on the air. But we're going to start. I have the order here.
What do you have the order?
I felt this was the right order.
Okay.
So that one that is nope. Yep, that's yours.
Oh,
I have a skill.
Yep.
For being able to look at the outside of a fortune cookie, know who it belongs to before it's read. This one is EG's, and I bet it's going to be something like life moves fast. You better
Hold on.
keep up.
Who's eating these?
You can have them as you spill crumbs over.
Aw. Your joy will radiate to those around you.
Probably meant your radiator's going to end up in someone around you while you're driving 90 miles an hour going down the freeway.
I-75.
It's
Okay.
funny that you went with the radiator falling off. I went with she just parks on the street and somebody takes it along with
That's
her
so true.
catalytic converter.
Possible. We're not wishing that upon you, but if it happens, please let
It
us
happened
know.
to my brother. His car got stolen.
We heard. We
Yeah.
heard. We heard.
Yeah.
Okay, next up is Tyler, and it's going to be, yep, that's the one.
All right.
This is the Tyler one. EG's going to be doing the reading.
All right.
This is fun.
Tyler, are you the type that likes to eat the cookie, though?
I do.
Okay.
Let's make sure Tyler gets the cookie,
Here you
because
go.
I've heard the fortune only comes true if you eat the cookie. Eat part of the cookie, at least. All right, this is Tyler's fine-tuned fortune.
Sunday will bring you opportunities for personal and professional growth.
What are you seeing Sunday?
I don't even know yet, but I'm gonna see like 4 different things now.
Oh,
I'm
you're gonna
I'm gonna hold on to that. Thank you, EG.
you're gonna have a short on Sunday
That just pops off.
that goes off the absolute chain, or you're gonna be seeing werewolves, which
Better watch out, Mr. Beast.
yeah, maybe. Okay, that's gonna be big. Okay, the next one is a chat member, Tyler. Let's look at the chat here and see. I'll tell you who I'm gonna go with. I'm going with Russell, and I'll tell you why. Russell hand delivered some
No way.
pretzels.
Oh,
One of our poker players, his name is Matt. His wife makes these frosted pretzel sticks
Oh,
that will blow your mind.
they look delicious.
And I'm convinced they're laced with something that makes them extra good.
Might be.
And I am going to dive into these. And I was not able to go to poker game last night because I was covering the state
Yep.
final with the high school football season. I actually showed up to the media. You guys aren't going to believe me. I showed up to the media tent to
Okay.
get my credential, and they went, "Oh, you're the 10 with Tim guy."
No way.
I'm not kidding you. And
That
I
is
was
so
like,
cool.
"That is me." But then there was no more conversation after that, so I just kept staring at that person like,
Oh,
"Is there anything else?" They were probably just intimidated by my level of celebrity.
yeah.
They're like,
Happens.
"Oh, the 10 with Tim guy."
I feel like this happens a lot. People will recognize somebody and not be 100% sure. So they work up the courage to say,
Yeah.
Are you so and so?" They say yes. They haven't thought past the "Are you so and so?" question. So it's just like,
Yeah.
all right, cool.
We just kind of nodded and just it was windy and we were just kind of like we had a bunch of shoulder movement. I mean, I'm just bouncing and I'm just like, yeah, I'm Tim
Yeah,
Tim
I'm the
guy.
Tim
And then
guy.
it was like there was nothing else and I was like, "Oh, he must hate it." You know? Anyway, so I wasn't able to get one of these pretzels in person.
Wow.
And so, Russell, thank you because I'm going to absolutely just
Demolish.
destroy
Yeah.
these pretzels.
That's
Okay.
delicious.
So,
Which one is his?
his is that one right there.
We're on the same page with.
Yep. On something.
Yeah.
Okay, Russell, here's your fortune. Are you ready? Very dramatic opening here. You ever open a fortune cookie and there's no fortune inside?
Yes.
have.
I feel
Often.
it's like meeting the Grim Reaper.
I feel the same thing. It's a bad omen.
It's a bad omen.
You got no fortune.
Exactly.
Russell, your life will be a source of love and inspiration.
Oh,
That's very nice.
Probably because you'll continue to watch The Meltdown live daily, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern, and we are that dose of love and inspiration that you so desperately need.
You can eat his.
I'm all right.
Okay.
Okay, this last one is mine,
I'm nervous for you.
and the feeling I get is it's going to be slightly condescending.
There is one in there.
That's a prediction that this one is going to be slightly condescending.
It's also kind of like burned.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Once again, already condescending. If you can, read it in a condescending voice. Is it?
Tonight, let go of worries and find inner peace.
So I think it
Yeah.
is slightly
It
condescending,
is.
and I'm going to tell you why. I have not looked forward to going to this Y2K movie all week long. And what that fortune cookie's saying is basically what Tyler tells me. Dude, just go have a good time. Enjoy your 7 o'clock movie, you old man. Quit complaining about it. That's exactly what this fortune cookie just did.
And
Just reminded me of all the pain.
I'll go to see Not Another Church movie. I'm happy that my job is covering movies, going to the theater and sitting down with some flatbread pizza or some sliders and a drink and just watching a movie and letting people know what my thoughts are. I think we got to put stuff into perspective.
That's great. You've done it 120 times this year, and
Yeah.
we are grateful for that. But there's a reason you're the only one in the theater watching Not Another Church Movie. There's a
That
reason
that
why
is true.
you're the only one there, and that is a failure on the marketing attempts of trying to get people excited for those. However, if it wasn't for individuals like you, we wouldn't even know Not Another Church Movie exists. So
That's
thank
true.
you, Tyler. Thank
Yes.
you.
We're in debt.
We are. All right,
That was condescending.
that is going to do it here for this latest edition of Meltdown Live. I feel a sneeze coming on for sure. I don't know why, but it's definitely there. We want to remind you about our title sponsor. That is MyBookie at mybookie.ag. You got a great opportunity there by using promo code NEXTROUND. Join the MyBookie family for daily odds boosts, same game parlays, and super contests. They also have that live casino there as you are set to get a 300% bonus by using promo code next round, where you can bet and play absolutely anything, anytime, anywhere, only with our friends at MyBookie. Once again, thank you so much for being here for the Meltdown today. We will have reviews up very soon of Y2K, which Tyler and I are both going to go see tonight to let you know if this horror comedy lives up to whatever minimal amount of hype surrounds it, but it is the biggest release of the week for sure. We'll have all of that content and more here on the Meltdown. Make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell.